Get ready, Outlander fans. Welcome back to my channel. The end of an era is here. The official trailer for Outlander Season 8, the final season, has arrived, and it's packed with shocking twists, heartbreaking farewells, and a battle for the ages. Will love conquer all, or will time tear them apart? Don't miss this first look. The time has come. After years of passion, adventure, and heart-wrenching sacrifices, the epic saga of Jamie and Claire Fraser is reaching its monumental conclusion. The official trailer for Outlander Season 8, the final season, has finally arrived, and it promises an unforgettable farewell filled with love, war, and destiny's last stand. From the battlefields of revolution to the unbreakable bonds that defied time itself, every moment counts. Will their love survive the ultimate test? Watch now and prepare for the end of an era. After a decade of defying time, destiny, and war, the epic journey of Jamie and Claire Fraser reaches its breathtaking conclusion. The final season of Outlander brings their legendary love story to an unforgettable climax, as revolution, betrayal, and the weight of history itself threaten to tear them apart. Old enemies resurface, loyalties are tested, and every sacrifice they've ever made leads to this moment. One last battle for their family, their future, and a love that was written in the stars. The end of the era begins now. The official trailer for Outlander's 8th and final season opens with a quiet, haunting moment. The familiar sound of wind through Scottish heather, as Claire's voice echoes all the way back to where it began. The screen erupts into chaos, musket fire, screaming horses, and Jamie Fraser standing bloodied but unbowed on a smoke-choked battlefield. The revolution has come to the ridge, and this time the Frasers may not survive it. Claire moves through rows of wounded soldiers, her hands steady but her eyes betraying exhaustion. A whispered voiceover asks, "How much more can one love bear?" The trailer cuts between intimate moments. Jamie tenderly braiding Claire's silver-streaked hair, their hands clasped in the darkness, and brutal action sequences as their home burns behind them. New threats emerge from the shadows. A hooded figure watches from the trees. Could this be the return of an old enemy? Brief flashes hint at a conspiracy that reaches across time. Mysterious pages from Claire's 20th century medical journal, a familiar blue dress. Could it be Brianna's? Lying abandoned near standing stones. Young Ian stands at a crossroads, his mohawk tattoos visible as he aims a rifle with deadly purpose. The music swells as we see Roger and Brianna clutching their children, their faces etched with impossible choices. A single gunshot rings out, the screen goes black. Then Jamie's voice, rough with emotion, "No matter how long it takes, Monique and Don, I will find you." The final image, Claire's hand, old and trembling, touching Jamie's carved initials on an ancient stone as tears fall. The trailer masterfully weaves together the show's signature elements: sweeping romance, brutal historical drama, and the ever-present mystery of time itself, while leaving the ultimate fates of our beloved characters shrouded in heartbreaking possibility. Every frame pulses with the weight of finality, promising an ending worthy of this epic love story that has spanned centuries. The final season of Outlander brings Jamie and Claire Fraser's love story to its ultimate reckoning, where every sacrifice, every battle fought across decades, and every moment of stolen happiness culminates in one last desperate stand against the forces of history, war, and time itself. The American Revolution rages at their doorstep, not just a distant conflict, but a firestorm consuming everything they've built. Fraser's Ridge, once a sanctuary, becomes both fortress and battleground. Jamie leads his militia against British forces while facing enemies from his past. Perhaps a vengeful redcoat officer thought long dead, or a grown William Ransom forced to choose between loyalties. The revolution demands brutal choices, and Jamie's name appears ominously in historical records, fated to die in this war, casting a shadow over every decision. Claire, her hands still healing others but now marked by time, faces renewed persecution as her advanced medical knowledge draws dangerous attention. The trailer's glimpse of her, bloodied and imprisoned, suggests the return of witchcraft accusations. More terrifying than before, because now she has more to lose. Not just her life, but the family she's fought so hard to protect. Her knowledge of the future, once an advantage, becomes a curse as she sees the inevitable closing in, but remains powerless to stop it entirely. The most haunting moment comes in a flash forward. An elderly Claire in the 20th century, her trembling fingers tracing Jamie's name in a historical document, her face a map of grief and quiet defiance. Is this the unchangeable future, or one possible timeline she's racing against? Brianna and Roger, their children's safety hanging in the balance, confront an impossible dilemma. Remain in the past with Claire and Jamie, or risk the treacherous passage through the stones to the relative safety of the future. Brief but chilling shots hint at Mandy's unexplained connection to the stones. Her small hands clutching a gemstone with eerie focus, suggesting the time travel legacy runs deeper than anyone understood. Young Ian, caught between his Mohawk heritage and Fraser loyalty, becomes pivotal in a conflict that transcends the Revolution. A shadow war against a mysterious new enemy who moves through time like Geelis Duncan once did, but with far more sinister purpose. Whispers of a man who knows tomorrow ripple through the ridge. A hooded figure watching from the trees suggests this adversary has been manipulating events from the shadows, waiting for this moment to strike. Jamie and Claire's love, the foundation that has withstood everything, now faces its most profound test. Not just external threats, but the cruel mathematics of time itself. Their most intimate moments, a silver wedding band pressed to lips, Jamie's hands braiding Claire's greying hair, are intercut with violence and separation, emphasizing that every second of peace is borrowed. The season's emotional core lies in Jamie's whispered promise. No matter how long it takes, Mo Cree, I will find ye. A vow that takes on metaphysical weight as the possibility of literal centuries apart looms. The trailer's climactic sequence shows them reaching for each other across a smoke-choked battlefield, their fingers nearly touching before an explosion tears the frame apart, a visual metaphor for the forces conspiring to keep them separated. The true brilliance of this final season lies in how it weaves the personal with the historical, making the American Revolution not just a backdrop, but an active character in their story. Battles aren't merely fought for ideals, but for the right to grow old together. Jamie's desperate charge into gunfire isn't for glory, but to buy Claire time to escape. Claire's medical skills become weapons not just against disease, but against the predetermined future she's read about in history books. Even the standing stones, silent for so long, reawaken as conduits not just of travel, but of terrible choice. Would crossing through them mean salvation or surrender? As the season barrels toward its conclusion, the show peels back layers to reveal that the ultimate villain was never a person, but time itself. The inexorable flow that steals moments, the historical records that pretend fate is fixed, the cruel joke that two people who loved so deeply might be separated by the very centuries that brought them together. The final frames of the trailer, Jamie and Claire standing back-to-back against an approaching storm, blades raised, suggest they'll face this ending as they've faced everything. Together, even if the world ends around them. Whether through some time-bending miracle, the quiet perseverance of legacy, or simply the refusal to let go even when the universe demands it, their love story refuses to conform to history's expectations. In the end, Outlander posits that perhaps the greatest rebellion isn't against crowns or countries, but against the notion that any force, even time, could truly sever a bond written in the stars. The final chapter of Outlander arrives not with a whimper, but with the thunderous echo of history itself being rewritten. As the last grains of sand slip through time's hourglass, Jamie and Claire Fraser stand at the precipice of their destiny. Their love story comes full circle in ways both devastating and transcendent. The Revolution's cannons fade into silence, leaving behind a world forever changed, and a choice that will echo through centuries. In the season's climactic moments, the stones at Craig na Dun hum with ominous energy as Claire faces an impossible decision: stay in the past with a dying Jamie, or travel forward to ensure their family's survival. The trailer's haunting flash-forward reveals the heartbreaking truth. Claire does step through the stones one final time, but not before extracting from Jamie a promise that defies the laws of time itself. Their farewell at the stones mirrors their first meeting, Jamie's weathered hand touching Claire's face as he whispers, "Dinna be afraid, Sassenach, I will see ye again." Not in this life, perhaps, but the next. The final episode delivers on the series' long-standing themes of reincarnation and timeless love. In a breathtaking sequence spanning decades, we see Claire in her final moments in the 20th century, now a renowned surgeon who never remarried, her home filled with Jamie's letters and artifacts from their life together. As her aged hand falls still on a well-worn copy of Fraser's Ridge, A History, the scene dissolves to 1743, where a young Highlander with familiar blue eyes helps a disoriented Englishwoman to her feet near Craig na Dun. The cycle begins anew, the universe granting what history could not. The legacy of their love lives on through Brianna and Roger, who successfully navigated the stones to raise their family in safer times, yet passed down the stories of their extraordinary grandparents. Young Ian becomes the keeper of Fraser's Ridge, ensuring Jamie and Claire's dream survives. The final shot holds on the standing stones at dawn, silent sentinels that bore witness to a love so powerful it bent time itself. Their shadows form the unmistakable silhouette of two figures holding hands as the screen fades to black. Not an ending, but a beginning. Because in the world of Outlander, true love never dies. It simply waits for the right century. As the last battle of the Revolution fades into memory, Jamie and Claire stand on the ridge of their home, the wind carrying the scent of heather and gunpowder. The war has taken much from them, friends, family, the innocence of their early days. But it could not take what mattered most. Jamie's hand, calloused and scarred, finds Claire's, their fingers intertwining as they watch the sun set over the mountains. "We've lived 100 lives in one, Sassenach," he murmurs, "and I wouldn't change a single day." Claire's knowledge of history becomes their final trial. She knows what comes next, Jamie's name in the records, the date of his supposed death looming like a shadow. In a desperate bid to cheat fate, they stage his demise, letting the world believe he fell in battle while he slips away into the wilderness. The plan is risky, and the cost is separation. Claire must return through the stones to safeguard their legacy, ensuring Brianna and Roger's future, while Jamie remains hidden, a ghost in his own time. Their goodbye is quiet, fierce. At Craig na Dun, Claire clings to Jamie, her tears soaking his shirt as he kisses her forehead. "This is not the end," he vows. "Look for me in the stars. Monighe and Don, I'll be waiting." And then she steps through, not to a life without him, but to one where his love lives in every breath she takes. Years later, an elderly Claire lies in a hospital bed, surrounded by her grandchildren. The lines on her face tell stories of war and miracles, of a love that shaped history. As her eyes flutter closed for the last time, the scene shifts, not to darkness, but to misty Scottish Highlands. A familiar voice, young and vibrant, calls out, "You need help, lass." And there he is, Jamie, just as he was when they first met, his smile crinkling the corners of his eyes. Claire looks down at her own hands, smooth, young again. Time has unwound itself, granting them what they were promised long ago, not just one life together, but all of them. As their fingers touch, the world around them shimmers, the stones humming with approval. The camera pulls back, the two figures small against the vast highlands, as Claire's voice echoes one last time. And so we began again. The stones may have closed, but our journey isn't over. If your heart is still racing from that epic finale, you're not alone. Stay connected with us for behind-the-scenes breakdowns, book versus show deep dives, cast interviews, reunion theories, and more timeless stories that'll make you believe in love beyond centuries. Don't miss out. Smash that subscribe button and hit the bell so you never miss an update. As Jamie would say, you're part of the clan now. Let's keep the magic alive together. Drop it in the comments if you're not ready to say goodbye.